So I've set up a little fuel finishing rig. Yeah, we're getting the process pretty down pat on this side of things. It's a massive mess at the moment because we've been putting fuel in, and everything that's dirty or got oil on it I sit up on here and then I clean it off, so it's a bit of a mess, as you can see. I had some oil that an old fella gave me the other day, so I just tipped it through the starting strainer. That's a truck air filter. I just get it in like 20 litre drums and we tip it in there and then run it through the system. But we've made an output now, and the other thing I do is I tip the unleaded gasoline, petrol mixture, whatever you call it in your country. We call it petrol in Australia. We chuck that in the 60 litre up there, and we've got a drum tap so we can let it run in slowly. Sometimes I'll even put the loop up into there, pump oil into the unleaded so that when it's going around it's getting that mix on right from the get-go. It does mix together pretty good. And what we've got here is 150 or 6 inch down to 100, down to 50, down to 25. And we've come across, we've got a shut off ball valve here just in case we need to change filters and there's still something in the system. I'm thinking what I might do is cut a junction into the side of this piece and run 100mm pipe along the wall of the shed on the inside. If I don't think I can get it past the back of the pillars though, so it might even just be this section. Might go backwards and forwards a few times and have a spot where I can pump it into the top. I'm finding that the only way to deal with like 5 and 2 micron filters, so we've got a 5 in this one and a 2 micron carbon filter in this one. So as you can see, gravity flow is very slow, but I don't have to be here to let it do its thing. So obviously we've got a shut off there, and we've got an end cap there. We've just got to stick a cap on it to stop it dripping or whatever. Did that 20 already. But I've got to measure it, but I reckon there'd be about 4 or 5 litres by the time you fill this a couple of times. You think like a juice box or a milk carton. It's definitely a few of them in each of them. And it just pushes its way through nice and slow, no pressure, so it doesn't collapse the filter media in there. That's why we've gone with gravity. I know it sounds so backwards because everything else we've done is pressure based, but I'm collapsing too many of these filters with decent pumps. Even the 12 volt pump will collapse one of these filters, and putting them on the suction side leaves you at risk of like mass cavitation in like vane pumps, and we don't really want any kind of air build up or cavitation in a vane pump because it just kills them. So I need to buy another one of these and put an outlet on it. And then the other thing we're going to do is I'm going to make another drum out of something bigger, probably a 60, modify a 60, and then put one of these little tick-tick recovery pumps. That's used for pumping fuel around, so it's pretty happy with that viscosity. And all they do is they prime filters and filter barrels. So we could actually use this coming into this filter depending on how quick it goes, and one of these coming out. I bought a couple of them the other day. And then we can use this to transfer outside into a finished fuel IBC. So then that'll be basically ready to be used. I've got some 2 micron Raycor elements coming. I think that's either a 10 or that's a 30, I think actually. And that one's a 10, that's a 30. And we've been running that around at a pretty good rate, which is actually catching quite a bit and settling out in the bottom. So we're getting that moisture out of there. I'm also using a bit of the alcohol based degreaser. That's not degreaser, the alcohol based fuel injection cleaner. That's really good for wicking up the moisture, and once that's got moisture in it, these traps will catch it. I've had it come out of both of these and out of the Mitsubishi Triton standard filter and the Fleet Guard filter on my, well, it didn't get to the Fleet Guard, it got to the separator. So the separator between the fuel tanks on my truck actually caught the injector cleaner with the, what do you call it? The injector cleaner with the alcohol in it. I'm going to show you that drum now. So if you buy these in bulk, you can get them quite cheap. And as you can see, it's an ethanol blend, as it says. I reckon only 50ml in 60 litres. It does definitely rip Sorry, I was worried about the fan over there blowing in the microphone. It does really rip the moisture into solution with the alcohol and that coloured yellow orangey dye, because you do see it build up in the bottom of fuel filters, which is awesome. So yeah, I wasn't going to buy these and do it this way, but these two with filters in them popped up on Marketplace for $50. Had the valves, bought a bit of white PVC. That stuff's all cheap. Had that sitting around, so very easy. The other potential thing I could do is take this socket back off, put a 150 elbow straight on this, go over to the wall in 150, and then do a switch back a couple of times on the wall in 150. And then I can work out the volume of the 150 easy enough, make it so that you can fill it up until you get it to a certain height. Once it's at a certain height, you know it's going to run down, because every little bit of gravity you add to it is a little bit of extra pressure that you get through it. But we're not talking about any kind of pressure that's going to collapse it, so it's like super low pressure. It's just a good way to finish the fuel off. What I'll do is I'll run like 15 drums through it, something like that, and so I can pull the filters apart and have a look inside them. But ideally, this is taken off out of this big IBC, this big IBC. Anytime I've got excess solar panel, as soon as I see my charge controllers get to the top of the pack voltage and I'm home, I flick that big electric pump on, and that just runs the centrifuge, and that might be for hours. I think it ran for 12 hours yesterday. I think I turned it on about 10 in the morning ish, and yeah, it was going when I was shutting up shop out here at 10:30 last night as well. So you know, get some good run time on the thing, and the bowl spins beautiful and free and fast, so we're definitely catching oil, and its viscosity is really dropping. So when you look at this setup, this little pump going through this Raycor, these Raycor separators, you don't need to buy genuine ones, you can buy aftermarket ones of these. I bought 2 of them for $60 on eBay. One of them is going to go on my D-Max for this exact reason, and another one of these little pumps will go from the tank up to that filter. And it's just the ultimate water separation. These are made for marine use generally, same with that one. So anything you see for marine use is really good for removing moisture out of diesel fuel. Remember, this is sort of diesel. As you see, you get quite a good flow. As you see, my viscosity is really dropping now. And I know you see this, you think, oh, you're making a mess again. Yeah, and I will be putting a bit more dust back in the tank, but everything's filtered all the way to the output, so it doesn't really matter. That tank's actually pretty much full now. So yep, we need to tidy this up. I need to get a self-bunded IBC. I'm sick of cleaning it up, or a bund for the IBC. I'll find one of them on an auction site at some stage. I was using turpentine to clean up. I thought I'd get some kerosene. I'm going back to turpentine. Kerosene stinks way too much, and if you buy it through Bunnings, you're talking like $5, 10 a litre for the turpentine, so it's pretty reasonable, and it's better than degreaser. So is the kerosene. Like, look at how it blasts through the scudge. Yeah. Wash that all back down into the tank. Goes round and round, mixes up, gives you a bit of a hydrocarbon boost in your fuel mixture, and away you go. So as you see, height of that's dropping away down into our white tank at the bottom. I'm going to use these as much as I can because they're clear and you can see what you're filling. Yeah, fill that up a couple of times and just let it run through. I don't need to be here. If I make the capacity of this somewhere around like 18 litres, so it's safe, you can fill it up, put an empty drum under it, and not come back until it's full. You can push it through, because obviously you're going to have static amounts that stay in your filters, and through it goes, and then you've got a drum of usable fuel. It doesn't matter if it takes 4 hours. I'm not in any hurry to do it. I've got about 25 of those drums full ready to go into vehicles at any one time. I just siphon them in with a siphon hose, same thing, jiggle the hose, walk away, let it fill the tank up. Yeah, we're using solar power to run this. Obviously the 12 volt battery and stuff doesn't really need to be there because it runs off the solar to the charge, and that pump over there does as well, but it's kind of been a proof of concept to make sure I can make this work. I'm pretty happy with the way it's working. I've got a jug up there which can actually test how much goes in there, but the oil keeps coming. I'm helping some mates out by getting rid of it the way we're doing this, and it's kind of at the moment a win-win for everybody. In winter this will run a generator quite a bit, so it doesn't really matter how much I collect. I've got 1,000 litres in here basically, 1,000 litres over there. I've got at least 20 litre drums, 25 20 litre drums, and I've got a bit in the IBC out there, so I've got a bit of a collection. I've got some dirty stuff in 20s as well that needs to go into the system. This one needs to be only topped up with finer hydrocarbons like unleaded and diesel at the moment. We'll go with some unleaded and see what our viscosity ends up like, because that's the ultimate decider of whether this is successful, is your viscosity and your clean out of moisture and carbon deposits. I'll do another video when we clean the centrifuge out next, and we'll weigh how much gunk we get out of the centrifuge on a nice little scale and show you how pressure driven centrifuge is a good thing. Thanks for watching, catch you on the next video, take it easy, and if you've got an off-road vehicle that you want to run on waste motor oil in Australia, hit me up for any info, I'll let you know. Cheers.